What's good, everybody? It's your boy Todd Smith here once again with yet another episode of the No Gimmicks podcast alongside my tag team partner Dale Clifford out there in Fernley, Nevada. Dale, what is good, my man?
Man, I'd like to say a little bit more coming out of this highly anticipated Royal Rumble. I know that our predictions episode failed miserably. We got 2 picks correct. A couple we were close with, but we have to give credit to Mr. Zane. He correctly put in 2 of the picks, and that's the only ones that we got right.
Yeah. No Cody Hall tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about that prediction there.
Yeah, and obviously we had a cruiserweight and a dude work double duty. And needless to say, the dude that worked double duty did not get well received by the crowd.
No, he did not.
Nor by the parties involved watching at my house.
You know, yeah, this is one thing I can honestly say. I definitely have far more questions than I do answers after watching tonight's 2017 WWE Royal Rumble. So, while we're on that topic, let's get right into it here. Let's go over the good, the bad, and the ugly of the Royal Rumble. So, the actual match itself, let's look at the good. So, the good here was some of the highlights. I mean, we had a hilarious interaction between Jack Gallagher and his umbrella, which I believe is William. I think William III, I think. We had some standoff between some big men, between Strowman and Mark Henry. We saw Kalisto and I want to say, who was the other person who Braun Strowman just absolutely tossed out of the ring? I think it was James Ellsworth. They took flight lessons.
James Ellsworth.
Yeah, courtesy of Braun Strowman. Really, I mean, other than that, we saw Cesaro give his whirling dervish to just about everybody who was in the ring at the time. But I can't really think of much other positive than that. There was a lot of disappointments. Dale, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know, as I got surprised by the entrance of Jack Gallagher and kind of throwing out our thought that the Cruiserweights would be involved, considering that they have no interaction with the other guys on the roster, and then you're just going to throw him into the Royal Rumble. Mm-hmm. So, had that one. Didn't understand that weapons were legal in a Royal Rumble match, so didn't quite get that even.
Me neither.
Even though it was somewhat comical, his bit with Chris Jericho. And then, obviously, Roman freaking Reigns. Almost made me want to barf when it was down to him and Randy Orton. I was like, please do not let Roman Reigns win this thing. It was like, you're going to tank WrestleMania.
Yeah. I mean, that was about the only other good of the match, was the fact that Roman Reigns did not win. I'm not 100% satisfied with the fact that Randy Orton went over tonight. I guess some of the predictions is that Bray Wyatt is going to go on to win the WWE Heavyweight title at Elimination Chamber, and he is going to face Randy Orton after he turns on him at Mania. It could possibly even turn into a triple threat, adding John Cena to the mix. So, yeah, there's some definitely questions here leading to the bad here. Goldberg strikes again. So we get Goldberg squashing Brock Lesnar for a second time here. So how is there going to be any sort of a build-up to their match coming up at Mania? The other thing I'd have to say here is there was no real legit surprises in this Royal Rumble. One of the predictions you had, Dale, was that Joe was going to actually come in and he was going to go on to win the Royal Rumble and possibly face John Cena.
Yeah.
For the title at WrestleMania. My pick was Finn Balor, that he would return from injury and that he would go on to win the Royal Rumble and then win the title, against AJ Styles possibly on this SmackDown roster. And of course, we had the fan pits, the ones that are a bit far-fetched. Kenny Omega, he decided to re-sign with New Japan. Kurt Angle would truly make no sense for him to go on to win it, since he's going into the Hall of Fame and he'll become inactive. And then we saw, that Nakamura was basically ruled out after his injury angle from last night. So, Dale, what's all your thoughts on this, man?
When we kind of look, I know that we entered already knowing 22 of the stars, so that just left 8 unknowns. And kind of when all was said and done, you didn't get any of the one-off legends to show up. I guess that's because it already was legend. It was already legend packed with Goldberg, Lesnar, Undertaker. You didn't need any of the other one-offs, which is good. That is one of the parts of the last couple Royal Rumbles that I didn't like because, yeah, there's the nostalgia feel to it, but I don't like the one-off legends showing up because you're like, well, this guy ain't winning. It was like cool that he's in the Royal Rumble now, I guess. It was like I kind of like down to the thing is of seeing 30 people that sort of have a legit chance. Although every year you do get the go homes, and that's what you kind of get with James Ellsworth. He he wasn't going to last very long. And I know that some people thought for some reason that Triple H was going to be involved in this.
Yeah, some people had thought that.
So that Seth Rollins could show up and eliminate him, which to me made absolutely no sense because it's like, so you're telling me that Triple H is only entering the Royal Rumble so he can be eliminated by Seth Rollins?
Yeah. Come on, that makes no logic, no sense at all, right?
That makes no sense.
He's not going to book himself like that. No. We got a little taste of that last night at NXT TakeOver, though.
Yeah, and it's like, and I believe that is where they're using that to be the official setup for them in WrestleMania, as opposed to this goofy idea that Triple H was going to book himself into the Royal Rumble. Why? He doesn't need to win to main event WrestleMania for the title. He was only in the Royal Rumble last year to defeat Roman Reigns because that was the match at WrestleMania. It was supposed to be Roman Reigns and Triple H. It's like there was no booking point for Triple H to be in this one. So definitely just a bunch of the bad, I think, ultimately kind of really in the fact that we didn't get Samoa Joe nor Finn Balor and we got Roman Reigns. To me, that's the biggest travesty of the Royal Rumble to me.
Yeah, quite a letdown. Quite a letdown there. Which leads us to, the ugly of this match here. Once again, we have multiple uglies. Usually one of the highlights of the Royal Rumble is when Kofi Kingston makes his great escape, basically. When someone goes to eliminate him and he either, walks on his hands or, finds some other sort of a creative way of leaping from the announce table. This year, I don't even understand what was, taking place here. He goes up to the top rope, and then he takes this nasty bump, and he almost, impales himself on the ring post. And he hangs on for, a couple of seconds before he puts himself back in. And then the other ugly I had from the match definitely had to have been, as if Rusev is not already ugly enough, but with the mask, man, oh my goodness. Dale, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, and even with that, Rusev took the shot from someone, and I was like, and his mask came off, and I was like, oh, that can't go well. I think it was when he took whatever move that he ended up getting face planted with. It ended up removing the mask from his face, and I was like, well, that didn't go so well. Yeah. But definitely, we knew that Kofi was going to have some surprising, immaculate way to keep himself into the Royal Rumble. And this one, on first appearance, to me, wasn't all that impressive as some of the other ones he's done in the past. But then kind of seeing it in the replay and him chest bumping the steel cover and then being able to hold on to himself, I thought was a little more impressive than I thought off on the first watch. But I still thought there were some of the other ways of avoiding elimination that he had in the past that he had done better. Yeah,
it just wasn't as flashy, and it just didn't make him stand out as some of the ones that had taken place in the past. But yeah, overall, I think you and I will agree here. This year's Rumble definitely, left a bit of a sour taste in our mouths. But moving on to more positive matches that took place on the Royal Rumble card. Let's talk about John Cena, who took on AJ Styles for the WWE Heavyweight title. Now, the good of this one, I can't say enough good. You and I actually struggled to find a bad and to find an ugly here in this match. This is January. And for those of you who watched Wrestle Kingdom 11 and saw Kenny Omega versus Okada, that's a definite match of the year candidate. The second match of the year candidate took place tonight at the Royal Rumble. John Cena versus AJ Styles, no pun intended, was phenomenal. Both guys worked their asses off, flat off. Plain and simple. Some of the highlights include, Cena broke out the code red. AJ Styles' torture rat spun into a power bomb. And then the finish, which was awesome, where Cena actually hit him with an AA, then rolled into a second consecutive AA for the win. Dale, what's your thoughts on this, great match that we saw here?
Yeah, just unbelievable. It's like you saw two styles clashes. A top rope attitude adjustment. A 450 that was blocked. Just the smooth transitions that they made. As like you saw Styles on one of them. Cena was going for the AA. AJ slides off his back, rolls him back into the calf crusher. Just these two guys.
Yeah.
There's a reason. Obviously, John Cena has been at the top of WWE, and sometimes he doesn't get the credit he deserves. But there's a reason why.
Yeah.
He remained at the top of WWE for all these years, and now the WWE audience is finally getting a chance to see what WWE kind of missed out on AJ Styles. But again, had AJ Styles been picked up in the WWE sooner, I don't know if we have this type of AJ Styles right now.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think AJ is one of those guys, he just evolved and he just got better over time. I remember watching some of his earlier stuff from when he was in WCW towards the end there, and then when he was in the early days of TNA, which became Impact Wrestling. I think, he just continued to grow and continue to learn and just added more and more to his moveset. And the thing that's really, interesting about AJ is he actually eliminated some moves from his moveset. Like, if you notice, that moonsault into the DDT, he doesn't use that anymore. That was one of his moves that was prevalent earlier on in his career. The spiral tap, I believe he called it, which was like kind of a spinning type of high spot that he did from off the top ropes. He doesn't even use that. And he's evolved his moveset. So this guy, the time that I say that he paid even, like over there in Japan and over in Ring of Honor, it truly paid off. Yeah, we're getting some amazing work out of these guys here. As I said prior, we struggled to really find a bad in this match. About the only thing I can really come up with is the fact, I know a lot of people did not want to see Cena win, including myself, but the fact that he continues to remain as a face. I don't know if we will ever get to see another John Cena heel turn like he was earlier on in his career. Dale, what's your thoughts on that?
I thought we were going to get it in this match, or they were just teasing us, because early on in the match,
they teased it.
John Cena was starting to get frustrated, and he was starting to do some of the things that you see a heel start to try to do. It was like when AJ grabbed his foot, he kicked him away, and you saw that he was starting to get really aggressive in the ring, and you're like, oh, is he showing signs? And then obviously it didn't end up working out that way. But again, that could have just been WWE going, all right, let's just tease it a little bit here.
Yeah.
But yeah, ultimately the bad has to be John Cena winning, because he got number 16. He ties Ric Flair. For all that it's worth, John Cena and Ric Flair in the same conversation can be debated endlessly for all eternity, really, whether or not they should actually be there. But I kind of thought that he was going to win, because again, I had to make that prediction thinking that Samoa Joe was going to be in the Royal Rumble and get his match with John Cena. So
yeah,
there goes that. It was expected, but still disappointing that AJ didn't end up getting the win here.
Yeah, and I guess, kind of reverting back to, this whole scenario with the Rumble with Randy Orton going over. If that plays out the way that we say it is, where, we're going to get to see Orton versus Bray Wyatt, that means that Cena has to lose the title. So his 16 title reign is going to possibly be very short. So that kind of plays into the whole bad here as well. So that's something else to think of here. And as I said, it was kind of a stretch here. About the only thing I could really come up with the ugly, and just got a laugh out of you here, Dale. I said, damn it, John Cena, you are now a 16-time world champion. Can't you afford something other than jorts? I mean, come on. This guy, he's been rocking the same gear, for almost, I'd say, his whole entire tenure just about in WWE. I mean, you have anything extra to add on to that?
No, and that just is a testament to this match. Is there was nothing to complain about. Yeah,
there really truly wasn't.
We literally have to attack John Cena in his dang jorts again that he's had for upteen amount of years. So
yeah, not too much to complain about in this one. So definitely the best offering of the night here on the Royal Rumble card. So let's talk about Neville, who was taking on Rich Swann for the WWE Cruiserweight title. So we both agreed here. The good in this one is the fact that Neville did go on to win the Cruiserweight title. We're just kind of hoping, though, that this actually brings some stability to the WWE Cruiserweight division. Dale, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's about time Neville gets a belt around his waist at the main roster level. But yeah, that's just the thing. Is like I'll just immediately spin into, as you were saying, it's like our bad is kind of the fact that the Cruiserweight division, since its reemergence, has only been in existence for maybe 5 months, and we're on our now 4th champion. So there's no credibility to a champion. The longest title reign is 62 days by Rich Swann.
And I think the Cruiserweight division, we've had this conversation several times before. We both aren't really fully confident with how well it's translated from, the crowds out there in Florida at Full Sail Arena to the, WWE Universe, the larger size crowds, since this show, goes live pretty much right after SmackDown. It's always, in a larger arena with a lot more fans, and sometimes they just aren't as receptive to these guys. I still say, the Cruiserweight Classic was amazing, but this division was really truly hurt by the fact that they weren't able to find a way to lock down Kota Ibushi and Zack Sabre Jr. And then you have this guy Gran Metalik, who had a hell of a showing in the Cruiserweight Classic, and they haven't really utilized him much at all. So I'm not sure exactly what happened there. I'm not sure if they weren't able to sign him, or if he's out injured, or what's going on with him, because he hasn't been around several months.
He's under contract. They just haven't debuted him yet.
Okay, yeah, because I don't know why they're holding off for so long. I'm not sure exactly what the reason there is. It seems like they're finally just bringing Akira Tozawa to 205 Live. That's a move that they've been needing to make, because that guy, he's very talented, and he's strong, and he's quick, and he's definitely got a unique look and whatnot, so he's going to add a little bit to the division. But once again, we actually kind of had to make a little bit of a stretch here by calling the ugly, because nothing really ugly stood out in the match. But we just said it's kind of difficult, even though I like the transition, Neville turning to a heel, but it's kind of difficult to take him seriously with those Dumbo the Flying Elephant ears. Dale, anything to add to that?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like love Neville, and glad for the NXT success, and obviously now finally being a champion on the main roster. But the haircut and the ears just kind of, it's a tough sell.
Yeah, it truly is. They kind of added the beard to him, and that's kind of, like old-fashioned tactic. Usually when a guy turns heel, they'll have him grow out his facial hair a little bit. But, yeah, I like the new theme music. I like the new ring gear that he's sporting, but I don't know. Maybe my man needs to go see somebody at Paul Mitchell or something like that and get himself a makeover. Now that he's got the Cruiserweight title, he's probably making a little bit more. I don't know.
The ears you can't fix, but the hair, maybe they can do something with the haircut.
Yeah, because I don't know. I've heard just about almost every type of augmentation or plastic surgery, under the sun, but I haven't really heard of a ear augmentation. That definitely would be a first if he were to walk down that road. But we're going to move on here to Kevin Owens, who is defending his WWE Universal title, taking on the challenger Roman Reigns. So the good in this one here was definitely the fact that Owens won and retained the WWE Universal title. And they actually made this no disqualification. This was definitely a match where the no DQ rule definitely went to good use. Dale, you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. And it kind of, it just fits both guys. And really, I don't know, I almost kind of feel like you might disagree with me. You might be able to find something more. But really, Roman Reigns' best matches seem to be with weapons involved, which I think, again, goes to the testament that he can't go as much as some people think he can, because you have to have the weapons to aid his ability to advance a match.
I agree with that 100%. And, you even take it back to his days with the Shield. what was Roman Reigns most known for first time in the Shield was he was the guy who powerbombed, wrestlers through tables. So I guess it's kind of fitting that you bring that up. Yeah. Any sort of match where he can utilize tables or utilize, chairs or whatever it might be, it just aids him in a way. Because his moveset is very limited. He's got that drive-by kick. He's got the Superman punch. He's got a power bomb, and he's got the spear. I can't really think of too much else other than that Roman Reigns even used. Can you?
Samoan drop.
The Samoan drop? Okay. All right. So that's 5.
Yep. Hey.
Yeah.
John Cena and the 5 moves of death.
Cena has evolved though. He, like I said, he'll surprise you a time or two. He broke out some stuff tonight, like that cutter. That looked good from out of the power slam position. Like I said, I know he's used that before and he's used the code red. But yeah, that rolling AA into the second AA for the finish, that was just beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
But let's stay on topic here. With Owens versus Reigns. So the only bad that we could really pull out of this match, because this was actually a pretty good effort out of these two here, we're not really getting any closer to a match between Jericho and Owens at this point, are we, Dale?
No, we are not. I was not overly expecting Reigns to win. I kind of actually thought that was going to happen, but when it didn't, that was a good thing. But kind of just in the aspect that really Jericho didn't do much to help Owens win.
No, he did not.
He aided him with the brass knuckles, which is fine. But I kind of was on the bad part of Jericho walked in or got thrown into the cage wearing the United States Championship.
Yes.
In a no disqualification match.
And it never once got used.
A title belt is used how many times in matches by heels?
Countless amount of times.
Amount of times. And Chris Jericho standing in a cage in a no disqualification match holding a weapon around his waist, and it never got used.
Yeah.
To me, that doesn't make any sense.
Wasted opportunity.
You give him the brass knuckles. It was like, you give him the brass knuckles, that's fine. It was like, but he literally was wearing a weapon on his waist that they didn't use.
Yeah, is a very good point you just brought up, because when the hell has Chris Jericho been known to walk around carrying a pair of brass knuckles? So it's not really fitting at all. Yeah, we're on the same page on that one. Getting to the ugly here, Kevin Owens found a way to build a pyramid of chairs from the ground up, and we were just waiting in anticipation saying who's going to get, thrown or knocked into these chairs and how exactly is it going to happen. So, of course, since Kevin Owens was the one who constructed it, he's the one who got put through it as Roman Reigns super punched him. He got launched from off, I believe it was either the second rope or top rope, and then he went spilling through those chairs all over the place. Dale, anything to add to that?
No, that was they built the tower, or Owens built the tower of chairs, and we're like, oh, this is going to be something. And then we're kind of just like, whoever goes through this is just going to be ridiculous. And we kind of all felt like there's no way it's going to be Roman Reigns. It just doesn't seem like a spot that Roman Reigns would be willing to do. It seems more of the spot the indie guy would do, Kevin Owens.
So true, Dale. So true, now that you brought that factor into it.
So he goes through the tower of chairs, but then also we had the involvement of Braun Strowman.
Yes, we did.
And a choke slam to Roman Reigns on the announce table that was pretty dang brutal. The table didn't break, and I even believe Reigns' head hit the monitor.
That was sick. Yeah. That made a lot of people happy when Strowman came out there, because we basically knew that spelled the end for Roman Reigns in some way, shape, or form. I said, there's no way he's going to overcome those odds. But yeah, that bump that he took onto the table, ooh, yeah, that just, ouch. Anyhow.
Another thing that kind of worried me real quick, last thing on this.
Yeah.
Is when this match was second, I was like, don't tell me they're making this match second so that the loser can be in the Royal Rumble, and that's what they ended up doing.
Don't even think it, Dale, because if you think it out loud, it's gonna happen. That's about the best advice I could give you, man. So we're going to move on here to the women's match, the title match for the women's Raw Championship. We had Bayley taking on Charlotte Flair here. The good in this match definitely had to be the fact that Charlotte retained, which basically means that the game of ping pong, which has been taking place with the women's title switching hands so frequently, that's ended at least for now. Dale, I know you have something that you like to add to this one here.
Well, that's for now. Remember, Charlotte's got the undefeated pay-per-view streak. Bayley could beat her tomorrow and win the women's championship, and we have the ping pong Bayley Charlotte thing, just like we had the Charlotte Sasha thing. So,
very well could be. We'll just have to hang on and wait.
There just wasn't too much from this match. It kind of, I don't know. These two women kind of let me down a little bit.
Can I admit something to you? I'm gonna share something with you, Dale. Just promise you won't tell anybody, okay? Man, I was knocked out during that match. I had to wake up. It was so dull, it put me to sleep. I'm serious.
It was nothing to write home about, that's for sure. It's like I came out of that one like I was supposed to make a list on this one, and I completely almost forgot it even happened.
Yeah, I mean, there was a couple cool little interactions there, I think, towards the beginning. Like, Bayley, I think, did like a nice little head scissors takedown on the Charlotte on the outside there. But no, there wasn't far too many memorable moments in this one. It's a bit of a disappointment because when you think of the two caliber of athletes you have in this match, Charlotte is impressive and Bayley is just, a hell of a talented, female wrestler. I expected more out of this one as well. I mean, moving on to the bad here, the bad truly was, besides the fact that the match really did not live up to its expectations, Bayley didn't win. It kind of goes against what we said, what's good for the division, that the title doesn't swap hands too often, but with us having our little interactions with Bayley out there in the indie scene and whatnot, we're fans of hers. We would have liked to have seen her win. I mean, you agree with that, Dale?
Yeah, I can see that, but I definitely didn't think it was coming here. I thought her ultimate moment was going to come at WrestleMania, but she kind of went out so just basically like Charlotte whooped her that selling any further interactions between these two to me is kind of hard right now. It's like Charlotte looked pretty convincing in the win.
Yeah. Yes, she did. So it'll be interesting to see how far this one winds up going here. About the only thing that like I said, the match itself was dull, but the ugly that stood out to me, there was an image of Charlotte when she was locked in the figure four and she was just screaming, her lungs out. And she had blood seeping from out of her mouth. It just totally struck me as like, how people look when they are about to get devoured by the zombies in The Walking Dead? That's what that reminded me of. I don't know if you have anything to add on to that one, Dale, but that to me stuck out as the one ugly moment.
No, that definitely kind of comes up with it when you have a woman that's showing some crimson. Definitely kind of lends yourself to the ugly moment. So
let's look at this show from top to bottom here. Starting with the Rumble match all the way down to Bayley versus Charlotte. If you had to give this show a grade on the no gimmick scale, Dale, what would you give it?
Oh man, this one's tough. The Rumble winner was okay, but some of the participants lacked. Some of the order during the match lacked. The women's title match just wasn't feeling that one. The Cruiserweight title match, I think, was probably one of the better ones that we've had for the Cruiserweight division, so that was a plus. Then obviously you had Cena and Styles that just absolutely delivered, and then Owens and Reigns, which delivered as well. So you had two really strong matches, like 5-star caliber matches, and then maybe a 3-star caliber, and then a 2, and then I don't know, maybe the Rumble could have been at a 3, maybe. It's tough to judge Rumbles. So I don't know, 275. I can't go much above that. Okay,
and here I go being generous again and giving this a WWE pay-per-view a higher rating than what you did. Basically, the women's match was dull. That was the only match I could really just say I could not really get into. I did not enjoy. But because of John Cena versus AJ Styles and Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns alone, I want to say 3. I want to give it a 3 on the no gimmick scale. The match, the Royal Rumble match itself was a bit disappointment in my eyes. Like I said, you just didn't have those surprises. The whole Goldberg versus Lesnar thing, really just does nothing for me. And to get Reigns at number 30, although, like we said, Randy Orton's not the ideal person I wanted to see go over in the Royal Rumble, but at least it was not Roman Reigns. So for that reason, I will give it a 3 on the no gimmick scale.
You always make me go first. I wanted to say 3, but I always, since you always make me go first, I always end up being the guy that seems to give the lower score. So I definitely would agree with your 3 as well. So
sorry to throw you under the bus there, Dale. Yeah, man, you gotta wash those tire streets off your clothes, man. But anyhow, Thank you for joining us for this edition of the No Gimmicks Podcast. These have been our thoughts, the good, the bad, and the ugly of the 2017 WWE Royal Rumble. Please visit our official YouTube channel. You can find us at www.youtube.com/the No Gimmicks Podcast. If you would like to receive our notifications when we release our new episodes, then please subscribe. We would like to hear from our viewers, so please leave us some feedback in our comments section on our official YouTube channel. Also, please like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at the No Gimmicks PC. Be on the lookout for my updates on my personal LinkedIn account weekly, usually on Monday afternoons. Also, check out Craig Perkins' weekly article featured on ProWrestling.com. And remember, sharing is caring. Feel free to share the links to our episodes with other pro wrestling fans on your social media accounts as well. That does it for this episode of No Gimmicks Podcast. For my tag team partner Dale Clifford in Fernley, Nevada, this is Todd Smith in Bristol, Connecticut signing off. Until next time around, y'all take care.